Good morning, lovely people. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. I'm grand, I think. Yeah, just, ticking along. It's winter. What can you do? Cosy things indoors. What did occur to me late yesterday is, I think it'll probably be this weekend coming, the Radio Times Christmas edition will come out. Now, I don't know whether to just treat myself to a copy for old time's sakes, but I definitely know in our household when we were kids, the Christmas Radio Times was fought over. So for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's the sort of the TV and radio listings. It's a little magazine that comes out. It normally comes out once a week. But the Christmas edition, it covers the Christmas week and the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day programming. So it's a 2-week bumper issue. Everyone wants to scrap over it to have the first look of what exciting things are going to be on over Christmas. Because so often, this is especially, in the days before Netflix and all those other ones, Sky, is it? All this stuff that you can buy and have streamed into your TV. I have no idea how any of that works, by the way. I don't do it. But it was in the days when, over Christmas, there'd be a premiere of a really, really big film that would be only, say, 2 or 3 years old. And there would have been no other way to see that film other than at the pictures. So, yeah, it was a big deal. And there'd be all sorts of other stuff on. There'd be Christmas specials for everything. So a Christmas special of your favourite comedy show, or Christmas special of your favourite panel show, favourite baking show, whatever. Of course, the Morecambe and Wise Christmas special. There'd be other stuff on that you wouldn't see throughout the rest of the year, like a ballet or some opera. So it was really, really exciting to get one's hands on the Radio Times, go through it with a fine-tooth comb. You don't want to miss anything. And, put a circle around what you want to see with your name next to it. So the whole family gets to have a choice. And then, that dread, that shock, that horror, if more than half the family want to watch, I don't know, something that's on BBC One at 7 p.m. But on BBC Two at 7:30 is the thing that I really want to watch. Yeah, it was majority rules. And also because in those days, there was one telly in the house. Not like these days where there's a telly in every room and, all our electronic devices we can watch on. So it was one TV and everyone had to watch this. You will either have to watch the same thing, or if you don't want to watch it, go in the other room and play a board game. So yeah, I think the Christmas Radio Times is out this weekend. And well, I don't know about any of you, but for me, that then feels really Christmassy. I know it's not what Christmas is about. Christmas is not about what's on the telly. But when you're a kid, well, certainly for us, we couldn't afford to go to the cinema. We didn't have that. So we couldn't afford to go to the ballet, to go to the opera. So this was some real treat stuff available. Just one time a year in that special fortnight. I haven't bought the Radio Times for years, absolutely years. Oh, it's probably ridiculously expensive these days, isn't it? I seem to remember it was about 30p or something. It's probably about £5 by now. I've got no idea. But I might just look in my corner shop, and if it's not too expensive, I think that might be one of my Christmas treats. Because even if I don't watch half the stuff, just that lovely pleasure of flicking through the pages and seeing all the possibilities. Brilliant. Right, where are we? It is the 15th today, I think. Are we on the 15th? Yes, it's the 15th. So, less and less windows by the day. Oh, hold on, get my nail under it. Oh, it's a tricky, oh, doesn't want to open. Oh, it really doesn't want to open. Come on, yield 15. What's in there? Oh, I can see through the screen. Bells. Lovely. It's like I was saying when I got my decorations out, isn't it? There's got to be some bells on the tree. Lovely. Right, on with the main show. Where are you, 15? We're coming for you. That's really weird. I've just spotted, hadn't spotted this before, there's one for the 25th. We never, maybe that's because this is an American calendar, but Advent calendars here never go to the 25th, only to the 24th. And the 24th is traditionally a much bigger window. And, I'm going to give it away now. When you open the 24th, it's almost always the nativity scene. So you can see on my little cathedral card, all the windows have been teeny tiny. I don't know if you can see that. That is the 24th. All of this is one big window for the 24th. And I can almost certainly guarantee that that's going to be in the nativity scene. So how odd. I've never seen a calendar with a 25th on it. Woo! Extra free day. I've found the 15th now. Oh, crikey. Let's get in there. Sound effects department. Oh, it's another Dickens. Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol in just 6 weeks. It sold 6,000 copies by Christmas Eve, 5 days after it was published. 6,000 copies in 5 days. That is astonishing. And now I can't remember when it was published. It's got to be around 1850, 1860. To sell 6,000 copies of anything is huge. You know, books in those days were a massive luxury. Well, it just shows how popular he'd become, doesn't it? 6,000 copies by Christmas Eve. 5 days after it was, so that means it was published on the 19th of December. How canny you were, Mr. Dickens. Wow, 6 weeks to write that. I guess when you've got such fantastic characters, it almost writes itself. Thank you, Charles Dickens, for one of the best stories to read over Christmas ever, hands down. Fantastic. I haven't read it in years. I've said this before as we've been opening them. Yeah, I haven't read it in years. I think a reread is coming. Right then, good. I think it's time to have a little video clip. What should we do? I know. Let's pop off to the garden. See you down there. Hello everyone. How are you doing? There's no two ways about it. The shed is a bit of a mess. I don't mean as in tidy, messy, that kind. Well, there's a little bit of that going on. But I've just come, I want something from around the back, and I've just walked past my little, I've got this little overhang on the window, and the felt's flapped off. It was weird because in a previous video there was a dark line, and I just thought it was shadow. So yeah, that needs repairing. I haven't got any tacks or anything like that at the moment, so I have to see if I can borrow some. I wonder if I can wedge it in place with a bit of stick. That's a bit optimistic, Vivi. No. Anyway, that was not on my list of jobs to do today. I was just trying to come around the back to get something. But this is something I really, really ought to have got done in the summer or the autumn. But I suppose it's one of those things that's sort of out of sight, out of mind. Side of the shed. Look at the state of the paint. I mean, it's what, 4 years ago. I think it was the summer of 2016. So 4.5 years later, look at the state of it, and it was painted properly. You know, I don't muck around with these things. It was primed, undercoated, 2 top coats, but that's rubbish. I wonder partly if it's something to do with the that kind of wood preserver that the manufacturers put in, whether it just meant I never got a really good key. So yes, definitely on the list of jobs it needs to be something of a priority, but obviously not at the moment because it's too cold. You know, ideally when painting we want it to be at least 10 degrees centigrade in order to get that good bond. So I think it'd be one of those jobs. I'm going to put it on a list. I'm going to put it on a list for definite. I need to sort out all the bits and bobs down the side. I've got this round pole down here that I found in the burn pile. It's like a fence post that I'm going to cut in half and use half of it for my new plot sign post, keep the other half. Actually, what I'm going to do as well, I think, is once I've got it cut in half, bring the other half in the shed to let it slowly dry because it is a bit wet, and then I'll keep it in the shed, keep it dry. But what I wanted, this is what I'm after today. Oh, I just looked behind. I mean, it's not too... Look, there's a few bits and pieces I've left down there. Oh, you're down there. Let me perch. Can I perch and talk? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's a few bits and pieces behind the shed. Not too much, but quite a lot of leaf litter. Great, I'll have that out. Because like I said, come the spring, if I do the tidying and sorting around the shed over winter, get everything off the shed, that means the first decent day in the spring, I don't have to think about it in terms of tidying all and, you know, getting it all out of the way. I can just hit the ground running, get down here, get sanding, get painting. And that's another good reason for thinking about it today. I don't think I've got any paint, so what I need to do is either keep an eye out on my local free cycle site for some paint, or put a little note up on the local group to say, does anybody have half a can of grey or half a can of white, or literally anything. I'll just put a note up, because so often, there's our Gary, so often people are wanting to get rid of things but haven't. Oh, excuse me. Oh, hi, lovely. I'm announcing my presence with a sneeze. Excuse me, I'm going to go and have a little catch up with our Gary before I put the bag to use. Oh, that was a lovely surprise to see our Gary, and I'm really glad he's popped over at just that moment, me announcing my presence with a sneeze. Really glad, because he's a professional decorator, does lots of exterior work. So after I just turned the camera off from you guys, he'd come up to the shed and I was showing him the side of the shed and bemoaning the fact that I'd painted it really carefully, doing all the proper layers, what have you, but that it had still gotten into such a shocking state. And he said, yeah, but it's the south side. I was like, huh? He said, have you checked the other side of the shed? I'm so glad he mentioned it. So I looked on the other side. The other side looks like I painted it yesterday. It's immaculate, it's perfect. So he's reassured me that it was nothing to do with my painting technique. It's just that south side of the shed, it's the weather. So that's great. And not only am I delighted to have that reassurance, but also just having those few minutes chatting with a friend just gives me a bit of energy again. Because I really, oh my, stop it! I really have been, it's ridiculous. This is now not a joke anymore. Yeah. I've been struggling to convince myself to stay after each session to do my leaf gathering. You know, it gets cold, gets a bit dark. I've got to say, it's gone 2:30, it's probably heading towards 3 o'clock now, and you can't tell it on the camera, but the light has really gone, and literally from about 2 o'clock, the sun dips behind all the houses. We're not getting any sun now. And the temperature massively drops with it. So yeah, this has been put off for far too long. So thank you to Gary for chatting to me and giving me a bit of energy again. And it's one of those things that's like, it is a really physical job, but that's perfect for when it's chilly. Get the blood pumping, keep moving, all the big muscle groups are working, fantastic. So I'm just going to rake into a few big piles all around me, get them gathered up in the builder's bag. I don't think I'm going to start strimming them today. I think for now I just want to concentrate on gathering as much as I can, because once I've got them in the blue bag, the big blue bag, I can dump that on one of my closed beds, and then just each time I'm down for a visit, whiz a load of them up with the strimmer, get them spread out. The priorities for mulching are the garlic bed and the broad beans. Then depending on how much I can gather, because once you strim them down they seem to disappear, but depending on how much I can gather, I'll keep at it. Then all the brassica beds, which are open all winter, they will then get some. Of course those beds were all mulched already with remnants from the compost bin, so they're not completely bare soil. But yeah, I'm happy to be getting on with this today. I totally get it, and I totally empathise that we get to this time of year and oopla, standing in my own pile. Yeah, we get to this time of year, don't we? And we're at home, we're wonderfully cosy and warm, we've got all our lovely indoor projects going on, and there are a lot of days when it feels like the absolute last thing that you want to do on earth is get all your layers on and trudge off to the allotment and be out in the cold all day. But you know what? You all know this. You absolutely know this. I know that you know this, and you know that I know it too. It's that thing of force yourself, because by the time you're down there and you start to get stuck into some of the jobs, you'll be so glad you made the effort. So glad. Keep your body moving this winter. And then, of course, all these jobs we do now, not so much the mulching, but all our little maintenance, repair jobs, what have you. The more we do now, the less we have to do next year. So that hopefully, come the summer, when everything's growing away beautifully, when tomatoes are falling off the plants because they're so ripe, when we have those gorgeous sunny days, we can just sit back and enjoy them instead of trying to catch up with all the jobs we didn't do in the winter because we just didn't want to leave the house. I'm going to keep at this now, basically until it gets too dark to do it. I want to grab as much as I can today, whilst I'm in the mood. So, it's going to take me a while. Therefore, I'm going to say cheerio to you all. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in the garden again today. I'll see you tomorrow, of course, for another window on the Advent calendar. But yeah, force yourself. At some point this week, make yourself go to the garden, wrap up warm, make yourself get down there.
And within half an hour, I'm promising you, you'll be so glad you're there. Enjoy. All right, lovelies. Cheerio. See you soon. Bye from me, Gary, the cats, all of us. Take care. Right, you lovely lot. You're coming with me. Not the great big sticks there.